this equation has four factors, a little bit of multiplication. So you've got a thing on the left, CO2, that you want to get to zero. And that's going to be based on the number of people, the services each person's using on average, the energy on average for each service, and the CO2 being put out per unit of energy. So let's look at each one of these and see how we can get this down to zero.
What's the other thing we know about this population? And it's a specific phase of life. Remember, age is more than a chronological fact. What else do we know about this population, 18 through 24? They are stupid.
Well, I'm sick and tired of smart guys.
Let me start off with two words. Made in America. Made in America.
Welcome back.
Thank you.
A lot of things are happening. Planets are aligned.
That's for sure.
Fuck yeah. That is for sure. Elon Musk just bought Twitter. Yeah. Congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, I hope the future is more fun and interesting. And
Bullshit! You know exactly what you're... I don't think you're a bad guy. You're trying to survive for you and your family and do good. Okay, but my family, your family, none of us are going to make it. There's a post-human era coming. Yeah. They've made frickin' deals with interdimensional aliens.
It's true.
I refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Welcome back to another night of Shtick with Koolfrogg. Oh my lord. I'm only 8 minutes late. Not a big deal, but you know, just kind of having issues trying to get everything set up and ready to go for the day. Late start. As you can see, I didn't get any of my office complete. Just crap. And and Tadpole wants in this office so bad, and he's not going to get in here. He's not going to get in here. That filing cabinet is way too heavy for him to push the door open. So, whatever. I'll deal with it. Yeah, he really, really wants in. He's pushing. He's you can see the door handle turning. It's just not going to happen. He's so past tired. He needs to go lay down and actually sleep for the night. And there you go. See? Scream as loud as he possibly can. I do not know where America Shirts is. I have not talked to him. I have no clue if he's even going to show up tonight. Let's all chant for him, see if we can't get him to actually come in. Otherwise, I did throw a link out for Jimmy YouTube. He may actually join me at some point in time if he decides to do so. Say hi to everybody in chat. Hey, Divinity. How you doing, dear? Rose, good to see you. Glad you're all here. And Miami Spice. That's what I'm talking about. That's what I'm talking about. Bunch of women. Love it. Glad you're all here. It's exciting. It's so exciting to have 3 viewers. That's great. Where's everybody? Oh, they're all still watching Joe Neerman. Of course they are. I was watching them too. Then I'm like, oh, I'm late. I gotta go. So there's a couple of weird things that actually come through today. It is a Thursday, so regular news night. Let's go ahead and we'll share. We'll start with the President of the United States. The President of the United States decides to go. Yeah, the potato. This guy decides to go ahead and, well, I suppose we'll make him bigger. Decides to go ahead and sign the rest of the orders, these bipartisan orders that have actually been placed through Congress. And as opposed to actually reading them, he's going to speed through them. Now, they kind of put a little bit of a time lapse, it seems, but they actually record how long in actual time that it takes him to sign the stack of executive orders or laws that are being put in place that actually went through Congress. He's trying to say they went through Congress. We know better. We've seen it before. We've seen it several times where he goes and he says that they're bipartisan orders when they actually weren't. They're just executive orders, or there's other things that he's actually put out there, like the student loan one. That was just an executive order. There was no bipartisan thought of any sort. It's really stupid and ridiculous to actually think that it was any other way. T3, how you going, dude? So I'm gonna hit play. It's just 1 minute and 3 seconds, but it actually, it's like I said, it's a time lapse, and it actually shows actual time that it takes him to actually sign these 34 bills. It's ridiculously stupid.
Folks, we're wrapping up one of the most productive legislative sessions in decades. Today, we've got 65.
65 bipartisan bills.
Ready, get set, go.
I'm going to stop the music from actually playing, but you can see within the 1 minute and 30 seconds, they actually sped up the time on him actually signing these bills. And this is exactly how long it took him to sign 64 times. You know damn well he didn't read a word on any of the stuff that was there. They could have handed him death certificates for everybody if they wanted, and he would have just signed them because he would have had no clue what he was signing. He didn't read a dang thing. Finished 10 minutes and 41 seconds. 10 minutes and 41 seconds to sign 64 times, which is amazing in itself when you think about it, that he was able to do so. But you look at that last one, look how thick that bill was. Look how thick that damn thing is, and he seriously did not read a word on a single one. He just went ahead, scribbled his name out. Yep, here you go. This new law. He's so freaking dumb. Checking chat here real quick. Nobody's in Rumble. Y'all hit that like button for me. Push that algorithm. Tell your friends that you're here. See if you can't convince them to come in and watch with you. I'm going to actually... think I actually... Did I even post this? Did I post a single thing for today? Okay, I did. I did. That's how busy I was today. Just seriously, no time to do anything at all. And I'll go post this a couple more places. Just because I was unable to do so much today. But that was the president of the United States of America actually just saying, "Here you go. This is what it is." 64 signatures on 64 different bills that were supposedly bipartisan. I really don't think anything was bipartisan that he's actually done lately. But 10 minutes and 40 seconds, he's like, "Oh, we did it." He's like, that was the whole reason for doing it, was to see how fast you could sign them. What's up, nerd? It's just really ridiculous that they actually went to that point of actually seeing how fast he could actually sign these bills. It's so upsetting, so disturbing, and so much money. That last one, the last one that he sent or signed, I would assume that was that bipartisan $1 trillion bill that he actually just put out to give Ukraine another 45 bill. So I mean, whatever. Whatever. Let's go ahead and just do that. So, being as we're speaking of our resident of the United States, jeez. Being that we're speaking of the resident of the United States, here you go. He doesn't even trust his own Secret Service. Joe Biden has trust issues with his Secret Service agents and calls them mega sympathizers. You gotta be kidding me right now. You don't trust even your own Secret Service agents? Your own Secret Service agents that can actually just remove you from the face of the planet if they decided to do so? These are your Secret Service agents. These ones are pointed to you to actually protect you. And if you're actually going to go around thinking that they're sympathizing with the other side, do you really seriously believe that you're actually doing the right thing? So it says President Joe Biden has a difficult time learning to trust his Secret Service agents who support former President Trump, or as Biden called them, mega sympathizers. According to the new tell-all book titled The Fight of His Life Inside Joe Biden's White House, author Chris Whipple reported that Biden once thought a Secret Service agent lied about being bitten by then first dog Major, despite emails saying that the dog bit agents 8 days in a row. There's sympathizers because he doesn't believe them that his dog, that it's his dog. He trained this dog. He trained this dog to actually be this way. So for him to train this dog to be this way, for him to think that, there's sympathizers.
Oops.
It's America's Shirts. What's up, buddy?
Hi.
Hi. Good to see you.
We're talking about Biden's dog.
Well, I mean, sort of. It's new. It's new news, but he's actually thinking that his own Secret Service agents are MAGA sympathizers because he doesn't believe that Major biting people 8 days in a row is legitimate. He thinks it's wrong. 8 days in a row, exactly. So to continue real quick, it says, look, the Secret Service is never up here. It didn't happen, Biden said when talking about Biden's German Shepherd alleged attacks. One agent claims that Biden personally offered to pay to have his coat repaired after the dog bit him. The attack that Biden denied ever occurred happened 2 days later on March 8th, 2021. Without warning or provocation, Major barked loudly at the agent and charged. Having no time to seek cover from the attack, the agent turned away from the dog as it bit into the redacted person's right leg, according to the redacted incident report. Whipple, who spent the first 2 years at Biden's presidency shadowing him, said that he didn't trust the Secret Service agents and believed they were lying about several things. He didn't trust them, Whipple wrote, adding, surrounded by a new phalanx of strangers, Biden couldn't help but wonder, do these people really want me here? Nah, nobody wants you.
Okay, quick note about this. I guarantee you Biden did not say a word of any of this. Biden did not have any of these suspicions. This is this freaking suspicions because he's a freaking fascista, and this is exactly what these people do. This is like publicly threatening the Secret Service that if you dare support President Trump politically or otherwise, we will come after you. Like, that's basically what this is. This is an intimidation piece. A political intimidation piece to make sure you go along with the Yahtzee party of America. That's what this is. This is, if anybody says that the dog attacked you, well, Biden said that was BS. So, we can't trust some of these people. Some of you just might have to go if you're not loyal enough to the party, If you're a MAGA supporter, if you're a Republican or a conservative or you're a MAGA person, MAGA nuclear MAGA person, then you can't be trusted at all. If you even if we find that you looked up on Google what is a MAGA, you're gone. Like, that's what this is. That's exactly what this is.
Check out that last little line on there. Whatever it says. Additionally, the book claims that Biden fears that the illegal migrant surge on the southern border saying that he was dropping F-bombs when the situation got worse. Sure he was. I doubt he was dropping F-bombs on anything that had anything to do with that southern border. This book that's out there, I'd really seriously be interested in actually seeing what this book actually all says and what's all in there.
That would be interesting.
This is the fight for his life inside Joe Biden's White House. Is the
See,
name
I
of the
love
book.
that how it's the fight for his life inside Joe Biden's White House, but when it's Trump, when he has all of these Obama stay behind networks and all of these, all of the Obama lackeys, they're there, the entire presidency undermining him the whole time, that he has all of these traitors inside of the Pentagon who betrayed their oath of office to the president, the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and refused to withdraw troops in a timely manner in which the president authorized it to be done. But yet somehow that's not the fight for Trump's life. But yet, if anybody even Googles what is MAGA on Google, oh my God, it's the fight for Biden's life. Please, you must subscribe to the Fascist Party of America, the Democrat Party, or else you are nonchalant. You are nothing. We will kick you out. You're done. We'll arrest you, throw you in prison. How dare you go against the president? How dare you defy the president? Well, yeah, I didn't defy the president. I just voted for the other guy. See, that's what you did. You thought for yourself and you voted for the other guy. You're in prison now. Tough crap on you. Like, that's what this is. Like, that's exactly what it is. The fight for his life. The fight for what life? Should be called the fight for his brain. The fight for, like, I don't know, a coherent sentence.
The fight for air.
Yeah, the fight for air.
The fight for oxygen. Almost anything. Real quick, there's a couple people that didn't actually say hi to yet because they had showed up after I actually started. So looks like ID Crisis is here. Texas Jen is here. And Melissa Jane is here. Welcome. Glad you're all here.
Oh, there's Alyssa Clips.
Oh, and Alyssa Clips. There you go. Awesome. So our audience is slowly growing. I know that there's quite a few things that are actually going on in the YouTube world right now. So we'll give them some time to actually come in here and join us for a little while before we decide to switch over to Rumble alone. If y'all haven't already, make sure that you actually subscribe on the Rumble side of things. That way, when we do actually go away here in a few hours or so, we'll actually be over there to finish off the night. There's a couple interesting things that we can't actually cover here that we'll cover there. Did you catch the beginning of the show?
I did not catch the very beginning of the show, no.
Okay. I was just did you catch him signing the 64 bipartisan orders?
Oh, dear God. He signed another 64 executive orders?
Well, he's saying these are bipartisan bills.
Oh, bipartisan bills. Well.
Yeah, he says they're bipartisan bills. So yeah, obviously these are all legitimate, and good.
Biden's looking over at that tower and he's like, "Oh my God, Leaning Tower of Pisa, gonna fall on me."
I'm gonna actually turn the volume up for a few seconds just so you can hear what he actually says at the beginning.
Well, folks, we're wrapping up one of the most productive legislative sessions in decades.
Pause this. That much legislation is not productive. That is the most counterintuitive sentence I've ever heard come out.
Exactly.
That is
so
not productive.
Counterproductive.
That much
and there's no way this is all bipartisan orders. You can't tell me this is all bipartisan. You can't tell me that whatsoever. Not when you go and you sign executive orders like the education bill or whatever. That's this is like he said that was bipartisan bill. It was just a straight up executive order. His pen going across a piece of paper.
I mean, this is what totalitarians think. They just think that, if we sign a gazillion executive orders and if we put in a gazillion laws, that's productive. That's progress. That's not progress.
So really don't need to hear anything more from him. So while you're ranting, we'll go and we'll hit the play button here. Because he doesn't really say anything.
Oh my God, he pets it.
He does.
Look at this.
He says, ready, looks at his watch, scratches his nose, and says, go.
Oh my God, they're fast forwarding it. Oh,
they're fast forwarding it, through but you can see an actual clock there up in the corner that actually
Will he even
shows.
give a signature, or is this like one of those Arizona?
Did he
mail-in
read a
signatures?
single
Allegedly.
one of
Oh
these?
my.
Does he know what he's actually signing? Did he actually just
Of course
sign
he doesn't.
his own death warrant? I mean, what else is he? You know,
Joe Biden signs at the last one. I hereby sign, authorized President of the United States, like his own execution by because he's the
look at
president.
how
So
thick
authorized
this
the-
last one is. Look at how big that stack is. Which one do you think that one is? That's the one that we just gave that $1 trillion package where we gave Ukraine another $45 billion. I bet.
And we gave Nancy Pelosi the gavel for another year.
He's
Even though
10
she'll
minutes
probably
and
be in
41
Italy.
seconds. Let's turn this volume up again at the end.
Oh my God. I mean, it's just
President
unbelievable.
Biden gets it done for the American people. ID crisis over on the Rumble side of things. Is executive orders only supposed to apply to the executive branch?
Well, technically, an executive order is supposed to be something where the president. It's supposed to be like it's supposed to be a presidential edict that states that, hey, this law is not being enforced, so I'm going to sign like he's ordering that something be done legally. So like it has to, again, the pretext there is within the law. So he can order something to be done so long as it is within the presidential purview and as long as it is within law. He just can't sign whatever he wants. But it is an order. So he's ordering that this be done. Like, you know, if some federal agents, let's say, aren't being all that productive and, you know, I don't know, like going after like child trafficking rings or whatever, he can sign an order that says that, you know, they have to go after this or they have to go after that or whatever, right? Like that's within the presidential purview, but it must be within the presidential purview. It must be
Princess
legal. It must be
said
lawful. Otherwise,
she's stream sniping us for a few minutes. Good stuff. Good stuff. Get our name out there. Let them all know that we're here. Anyway, so it's kind of. I got quite a few articles. If you didn't see, show setup. Here you go. Oh, it's changed. Yay. Go this way. So this is the Biden White House obstruction of House GOP oversight has begun. Of course, they're gonna they're gonna do whatever they can to make it sound like this current House of Representatives is in the bad on every turn. Every single thing that they do, they're gonna do whatever they can to make it look like, oh, this House of Representatives, because it's the Republicans, is bad. It's bad, and it's horrible and all around. It's just so bad in so many levels. So it's not surprising that President Biden and his administration would resist oversight by Republicans in the House of Representatives. But it's notable that the White House is already kicking off what's likely to be concerted attempt to stonewall the new House majority's investigations of the Biden administration. According to the reporting from Politico, which appears to have been coordinated leak from the White House to get in front of the story, as Rebecca reported Wednesday night, Biden's White House legal team notified GOP reps Jim Jordan, James Comer, that their requests for information from the Biden administration would not be heeded because they are constitutionally illegitimate. You can't ask anything. You can't ask for anything. You can't ask for requests for the information from the Biden administration because they're like no. No, it's not constitutional. It's constitutionally illegitimate for you to ask any of these questions, and we're not going to answer you. But you dang well when they did it to Donald Trump that they were actually given whatever they wanted. And I was doing the same things with shirts. Bad. Hey, Debbie, how's it going, dear? ID crisis is America's shirts is correct. Executive branch is law enforcement, not legislation. But that's what you get when the public school system creates suckers rather than citizens. Darth Hideous, how's it going, brother? Says gay. And yeah, I like how you project, brother. Good stuff. White House lawyer Richard Sauber told Jordan Coomer that Congress has not delegated such authority to individual members of Congress who are not committee chairmen, and the House has not done so under its current rules. That means that Republicans leading oversight efforts must essentially restart their investigations. Never mind, apparently, that Jordan is expected to be the chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, and Coomer is likely to be the next chairman of the House Oversight Committee in the new Congress. So, on something of a technicality, Biden's White House lawyers tasked with shielding the president and his administration from scrutiny and slowing Republican investigations rejected the request for information and said the West Wing would not heed the GOP inquiries. As Politico noted, the White House's refusal to turn over records, for now at least, represents the first volley in what is likely to be contentious and potentially litigious 2 years between House Republicans and Biden White House. In addition to being an apparent effort to shield the administration from a hail of potential subpoenas in early January by describing them as an abuse of the normal process of congressional oversight. So, they're pretty much looking at Republicans like, no, you're not going to have a choice or say on any of this. It's not going to actually go.
Meanwhile, the Democrats and their committees could petition, or not petition, could what's the word I'm looking for? Subpoena, there we go. Subpoena Trump's tax returns. Again, not his presidential anything. It's personal tax returns. Personal. So they can go after people's personal information, personal financial information. And that's totally constitutional to the Democrats and to the, establishment types. But when they legitimately ask, as with any other normal committee has done in probably the past, 30, 40, 50 years, for this kind of stuff, because they're going to win the majority. Oh, wait, no, you can't have access to this because this specific person isn't the whatever yet, the chairman yet, and whatnot, and da-da-da, I guess. That's essentially what this is saying, technicality. So no, we're not going to go for any GOP inquiry. Because all of it's unconstitutional. And they'll keep doing this.
Hail of potential what? Subpoenas? Sure, say subpoenas.
Grow up, children.
Grow up, children. Mm-hmm. To continue, it says the Republicans being stymied by the White House already are not pulling punches in response. Just before dawn at 4:33 a.m., the White House informed us they will not provide the answers we have been seeking for the American people on important issues such as the border and fentanyl crisis, the energy crisis, botched Afghanistan withdrawal, Koof origins, and the Biden's family's influence peddlings, Coomer said in a statement Thursday. President Biden promised to have the most transparent administration in history, Coomer reminded, but at every turn, the Biden White House seeks to obstruct congressional oversight and hide information from the American people. Now, we're not actually saying that he's actually doing that. We're just reading an article. Take it as you will.
We love the Yahtzee party of, the Democrat, the establishment. Oh well.
Them communists. I mean.
Potato. Tomato. Same thing. Same difference.
ID's over on that,
choose
on
your
that
pick,
Rumble
pick
side.
You choose.
No one cares about audits when it's FTX money being laundered scheme, only when it's personal taxes. Yep. Only when it's personal taxes.
Yeah, then they could get everything. But as soon as you say excuse me, President Biden, why did your administration purposefully screw up the Afghanistan withdrawal? Like purposefully screwed it up to the point that a 5-year-old would know you don't leave the, $2 trillion worth of new jet planes and tanks unattended. If I was to ask a 6-year-old, hey, this group of tanks and Air Force stuff and helicopters and jet planes and things like that, zoom, oh yeah, that cost it $2 trillion. Okay, now there's a bunch of people over there with shoddy up guns screaming Allahu Akbar, threatening to kill everybody. Should we let them near that thing we just paid $2 trillion for? No, and Joe Biden did. So this is pretty obvious. You purposefully screwed this up. This is on purpose. It's too stupid to be stupid. So how did you do that? Biden says, oh, we don't have to tell you. We don't have to tell you why. Mr. President, why is it that when people were trying to evacuate Afghanistan, that none of the vetted people that were Christian refugees were allowed to leave because they were going to be killed, but all of the wackadoodles that we didn't know who the frickin' crap they were, we could pile those people on airplanes and the government can send them to Minnesota and Nebraska and Ohio and wherever the freak else they went to the United States. We could send all those people there, but the vetted Christian refugees, they weren't allowed to leave. In fact, they were told to stand by while a bomber was there to be killed, to kill a lot of them. Why did you purposefully do all of that? Why did you do that? How about that, President Biden? Oh, no, the president doesn't have to tell you because, he's the president and, the Congress is just the Congress. They haven't won the majority yet, so we don't have to answer for anything. It's just Blinken's, Secretary of State called up Macedonia, told them they are not allowed to harbor refugees that are Christians from Afghanistan. They are not, even though they were going to, they said, no, you're not allowed to do that. You're not allowed to do that. So you have to go back. So they had to turn the plane around mid-flight and take it back to the ground in Afghanistan and force all the people off. And that's fine. And they'll all stand there and they'll line all these Christians up and they'll slaughter them in mass graves. Hey, Biden, why did your administration purposefully do that? Hey, Blinken, why did you do that? Oh, well, we don't have to say anything to you. We don't have to say anything to you. We just mass murdered 10,000 people or more, 40,000, whatever, however many people there were in total. We just let them all become slaves and, perpetual slaves or to be killed at mass. It's fine. It's fine. We don't have to answer for that, says the Biden administration. Okay. That's just Afghanistan. That little rant there was just Afghanistan.
Just Afghanistan. Just Afghanistan. Just that one thing out of so many. So disturbing.
It's too stupid to be stupid, ladies and gentlemen. It's too stupid to actually be stupid because it's not stupid. It's purposeful and it's intentional. They're doing it for the Chinese. They're doing it for their own interests.
So I'm curious here, and I know that you're still kind of chalking or whatever, but I see Jay-Z pop in the room. What's going on, man? Glad you're here. He says, shout out to Michael Malloy. I hope everything's okay with him. I didn't catch his... I did try to pop in on his stream today. I seen that he was doing something, but he wasn't there, so I didn't really wait around. I hope everything's okay with him, and yeah, shout out to Mr. Malloy. I don't know if there's if he actually made it to actually being in a home. He had kind of alluded to potentially being that might be a thing. Well, I'll keep him in our prayers. Hopefully everything's good with him.
Yeah.
I mean, exactly, Divinity, Darth. Mary Jane doesn't count. Get with the game. Get with the game.
But just to wrap my statements up.
Fuck you and your New World Order.
We'll get to the New World Order. That's coming up soon enough. Here you go. Democratic senator gives away the game in suppressing speech, including scary take on First Amendment. So we've seen a lot of ignorance about the Constitution, especially from Democrats, when the Constitution tends to butt up against their ability to control things. I wrote last week that Rep. Adam Kinzinger, who suggested that you could read guilt into invoking the Fifth Amendment.
His proper title.
What's that?
I was just correcting you. You should use his proper title, Crying Kinzinger.
Crying Kinzinger. Yeah. So that's pretty scary when you hear a lawmaker having such a hot take on a constitution, which he's sworn to uphold but doesn't seem to understand. But it gets worse with new lawmaker entrant in the We Don't Understand the Constitution Brigade, Senator Ben Cardin, Democrat out of Maryland. Cardin has been a senator since 2007. He's the chair of the Small Business and Entrepreneurship Committee and is a senior member of the Senate Foreign Relations, Finance and Environment and Public Works Committee.
Pause this for just a second. He says Ben Cardin is a part of the We Don't Understand the Constitution Brigade. It should be We Don't Care What the Constitution Says Brigade, because that's what it is. Like,
that's pretty much what it comes down to.
Some of these people don't know, but they don't care. They don't care to know. They don't want to know. They want their power. That's it. Right. Anyways, that's the mistake of some of these Republicans. They're like, oh, they just don't understand it. Yes, some of them do, and they don't give a crap. And some of them don't, and they don't give a crap. Like they don't care. They're not there. They're not there to just misunderstand. They're there for themselves. Like wake up. Anyways, live in reality, people.
Right.
Sorry.
No, it says he's been a politician in Maryland since 1967 and became a member of the U.S. House of Representatives in 1987. His website also claims that he's a graduate first in his class from the University of Maryland School of Law in 1967. Yeah, first in his class, just like Joe Biden was first in his class, right? Mm-hmm. So one would think he might have an understanding of the Constitution and the First Amendment after being in Congress for 35 years, except not so much. What he says here is some scary stuff.
If you espouse hate, if you espouse violence, you're not protected under the First Amendment. So I think we can be more aggressive in the way that we handle that type of use of the internet. We know that Europe has done things. I think we have to learn from each other.
You know,
if you espouse hate or you espouse violence, you are not protected under the First Amendment. Wrong. That's not how that works. That's not how the First Amendment works. Not at all. And this actually kind of gets into a little bit further on how that actually does work. Then he made it worse. I think we can be more aggressive on the way that we handle that type of use on the internet. We know that Europe has done things. I think we have to learn from each other. We don't have to be like Europe. We're not part of Europe. There's no reason that we need to be anything near that.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, right. This is categorically wrong. The First Amendment explicitly protects hateful speech. It even protects speech that might mention violence, unless that speech is inciting imminent lawless action. Didn't they teach anything in his law school? But you don't need to attend law school to know this. No, you really don't need to attend law school to know this. You simply need to know how to read a freaking book. So either he
That's
doesn't
pretty
understand
complicated
it.
for some people now. You know.
I know there's a lot of people that are kind of really not into reading anything.
Well, they should be. If they're not, that's their problem, and they need to get over it. I'm kind of done. My patience has well been dried up for people who, quote unquote, don't have the time or patience to read a book, but they will binge watch a freaking Netflix series until Kingdom Come for like 3, 4, 5 days straight when they have some time off. Like, I don't care for your crap. You're just lazy. Like, get some discipline and read a freaking, I don't know, like 3, 4, 5 pages, however big the pages are, of a freaking Constitution for once. Like, just read the dang thing. And I don't know what this word means. Guess what? You have the freaking internet. Most of you do. If you're listening to this, you probably have the internet, right? You know, I would assume. Right? Look it up. You have one of those other books called a dictionary. Like, there's a freaking whole index in there of like stuff, you know, like go through the letters in the alphabet and find the word if you don't understand it.
So then here's either way, it's very bad. There are Democrats to call where are the Democrats to call out this misinformation on Twitter? Federalist Papers are unaudible. No excuse.
No excuses.
I mean,
no excuses. By the way, audible books are really like those kind of things. So
no excuses, anybody. No excuses. Federalist Papers are widely available almost anywhere. It's not that hard to pick up a book and actually start reading some of it.
Right.
Yeah,
but even if you wanted to listen to it, like I've gone onto freaking YouTube even, like for free. Like some people will just have the stuff that they'll read themselves and they'll read it out and they'll record it. And you just listen to it on YouTube, some of these things. Like it's really go like you can go to like free diction, you can go to free book websites and freaking download the documents to your computer or your device, and you can read it off of there. Or you can print it off from there and read it off for free if you're that cheap and you're like, I don't want to spend $20-$30 on a book that I'm only going to read once or whatever. Like, okay, print it off. Like this is public. These are public documents, you know, like Federalist Papers and stuff. Like, hey, yeah. Anyways, enough about that rant, I suppose. We're reading early.
No, you're okay. So then this is after the backlash you would expect. Cardin tried to clean it up, but he didn't make it any better, still revealing his ignorance. Quote, although the First Amendment protects even hateful speech, if that speech motivates someone to commit a crime, engage in violence, or take action that infringes on someone else's right, that speech is not protected under the First Amendment, and there must be accountability. No, he didn't make it any better whatsoever. It still pretty much says the same thing. It's not how it works. You're protected on all speech, not what somebody considers hate speech. Who gets to decide what's hate speech and what's not hate speech? Not him. Not you. Not me, not anybody else. We don't get to decide who else's speech is hate speech when it comes down to it. It's not how it works. We have the right to say what we feel, when we feel, and how we feel. And that's the bottom line. That's how that works. So let's see. We got some interesting stuff going on here. I don't know if you're skimming through the show setup at all.
Oh well, I was just about to say this is my response to that guy, to the senator guy. You know, like this is
wrong.
Wrong. That is wrong.
And he did the wrong thing. Wrong.
That is absolutely
wrong.
True.
Wrong. Wrong in so many levels. Just so wrong. Here you go. We don't even need to read the article.
Just look at Miss Piggy's drooping head. It's just like run for president.
Liz Cheney drops hint about potential 2024 presidential run.
I mean, I could smell the whiskey from here. Like,
is she gonna run as a Republican, or is she gonna run as a Democrat, or maybe both? Maybe she'll say she's an independent.
oh my God.
Which
you know,
way
they
you want
tried
to
to
think that she
run that
actually goes with
independent
that?
guy that was a CIA deep state hack freakazoid in Utah against Mike Lee, and Mike Lee slaughtered him. But he did pick up a decent percentage of, dumbass Mormons who don't know the difference between their ass and their head, who couldn't find their ass with both hands if they tried. So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe she thinks that there is a chance, as being an independent. I never really thought of that. But seeing as they tried to do that in Utah, they may try to do that with this. With presidential run, try to like steal Republicans away that are dumbasses or NPCs. I don't know.
This showrun is unself-aware.
Yes. Yes. You know what, Weird Debbie? Yes, you do. You have a yes, absolutely. You have a much better chance.
So there's her quote. There's her quote that when asked if she was going to run. At this point, I have not made a decision about 2024. I'm really very focused on the substance of what we have to do in the Unselect Committee. Very focused on the work that I have to do to represent the people of Wyoming, though you lost. And I'll make a decision about 2024 down the road. Yep, down the road. How long down the road? How far do we have to wait for you to actually turn around and just be like, yeah, I'm going to run? Because you know dang well she's going to try running. She's going to try running, and she's going to try picking up that Republican nomination. She's going to try taking it from Trump, and she's going to try doing whatever she can to take what she wants and how she wants. This isn't something that's just like, oh yeah, right. She's not going to try. You know damn well she's going to try. They're not going to allude to something such as that without actually saying that she's going to try. There's no way. She'll try. Debbie, I should start my own party. Don't be a jackwagon party. Yeah, jackwagons suck.
Well, you should start the Don't Be a Jackass party, because then that's Don't Be a Democrat party, because Democrats are a bunch of literal jackasses.
YouTube would have actually taken away that ability for that word to actually come through anyway. So you can just assume. It's Pig Cheney.
Miss Piggy herself. I couldn't find the videos of Miss Piggy that were posted, but I found a still photograph of Miss Piggy in action on the House Unselect Committee, doing her best to try to make sure that everybody knows that she is presidential material. As you can plainly see by this glasses, she's very presidential material. Anyway.
Right? Oh, you're fine. He's going to leave that there just in case. So this is breaking. A significant miscount in Abe Hamiday's recount. That's Hamiday with hundreds of new votes in race called by 511 votes. Oh, let's just turn things around because, hey, whatever. We don't care. So this says trouble still lurks in Arizona elections after the humiliating showing for state election officials led by Democrat Katie Hobbs, who complained about being unprepared for people voting on election day because there are so many people voting then, and they didn't appear to have time to prepare for all important counting machines correctly, but they did the best they could at the time with what they had. So then it pretty much breaks it down, and it says, in one of the tightest elections in state history, Democrat Chris Mays was ahead of Republican Abraham Hamadeh by 511 votes. Out of the 2.5 million before the recount began in Arizona's Attorney General race, Judge Timothy Thomason also will announce recount results in the races for state superintendent in public instruction and state legislative seat for the Phoenix suburbs. Hamadeh, who hasn't conceded to May, had filed a separate challenge of the result of the race, but a judge dismissed the case. It seems as though there's still some issues going on in Maricopa County. Now we're not saying anything about it. We're just reading an article. And actually, so you can actually see what's actually happening, what's actually going to happen potentially here. A significant miscount of hundreds of votes has been discovered in the recount results of Trump-endorsed Abe Hamadeh's statewide attorney general's race. Hamadeh was only down by 511 votes against Mays out of more than 2.5 million ballots cast by the attorney general's race. In election day in Maricopa County, about 50% of the tabulators and printers failed on the moment that polls opened, causing voters to be turned away from the polls and creating long wait times of 4 hours or more. According to cybersecurity expert Clay Perk's testimony in the Lakes election lawsuit, this was an intentional act aimed at disenfranchising Republican voters who turned out 3-1 for Trump-endorsed candidates. Hamadeh contested the results of the lawsuit filed in Mohave County Superior Court against Chris Mays, Katie Hobbs, and all Arizona County election officials. Here's just read Abe Hamadeh's filing here. So you can actually click on that and you can actually go and read his actual filing on where he actually filed to, against this particular issue, this discrepancy. So the story is still developing. There's still something that's still going on in Maricopa County. And we have no clue what that exactly is. We have no clue whatsoever. And we're not going to say what is actually happening or who's doing what. But it does seem as though there's some potential issues that could actually be changed here in the near future. Though judges are denying any of these challenges that are actually going through. All the judges are like totally against it. I heard you. Just like, breathe. It's okay. It's okay. Rick's Clicks, I see you there, bro. Good to see you. I hope everything's working out for you and you're doing okay. Take care of yourself, brother. Take care of yourself. Did you have any thoughts on the Maricopa County?
None that are YouTube friendly.
Okay, I didn't think so. It's like, what can I say? No, I can't say anything. Never mind. Exactly, nerd. The judges are complicit in these laws being broken. They don't really care. They don't care whatsoever. There you go. WEF investigating methods to integrate digital ID into the metaverse. This world needs to stop. It just
fuck you and your new world order.
Investment. They'll construct a second fab here in Phoenix to build chips, 3 nano chips, the 3 nano chips that are 3 nano, and you know what I'm saying. Nano, no, I don't know.
Nano, no, I don't know. I'm going to actually pour myself another shot because I can. potato chips? ID crisis. So embarrassing. Yeah. And so many levels, right? So it says the World Economic Forum is reportedly investigating methods of integrating digital IDs into an online world that has been dubbed the metaverse. Klaus Schwab's WEF continues to push for the introduction of digital IDs. The organization appears determined to be one of the driving forces behind extending these schemes everywhere, even to a future metaverse. As Slate News has been reporting, the WEF has been developing technology and working with global governments to roll out digital IDs in the real world. Canada has even invested $100 million in taxpayer money into the scheme. But now the WEF wants to expand the use of digital IDs into the online world. And as always, WEF is eager to put itself in the mix when it comes to regulating that effort. Over the next year, WEF will curate a multi-taskholder community focused on metaverse governance and economic and social value creation. A post in the group's site says, it presents and promotes the need for a digital identity in the metaverse as a way to empower users by allowing them to own and control it instead of letting someone else use and or monetize it. What is in fact proposed is to create a single unique digital identity that will represent their real life identity, a person's digital twin in WEF's own words.
Okay, you keep reading this. I'm going to see if I can find this. This is exactly what they put into. This was a series that they put out not too long ago, called Brave New World, based upon the book Brave New World. This is exactly what they put into this film, or this series of, or this TV series or whatever. This I forget where it was at. It was a series where everybody in the series, everybody that was a character, they all had brain implants. And they all were constantly interfacing with this metaverse thing. And they all had their own identity things, and they all could change the way that they looked. They could change the way that they perceived each other and how they dressed and so forth, and all the rest of it. Everything, the currency was all digital through people's minds and everything else. I mean, like, it's all, they just splatter this all over the TV screen and they laugh in your face. I mean, it's just right there. If I can find this clip, you keep reading this, I'll find this clip. But yeah, that's what I'm going to look at.
It says this should replace the current situation where online users have multiple identities to log into sites like Google, Facebook, and many others. The post notes that sites that are these days allowing you to log in by using one of the big tech accounts, Google, Facebook, or LinkedIn, are already on their way toward creating the future system. The difference in the metaverse would be ownership of that identity. And here, the write-up comes to the point that WEF is actually interested in. How will this be regulated and standardized? What rules will be put in place to that end? And perhaps most importantly, by who? The organization poses many questions regarding the various possible scenarios, such as using blockchain to store identity, as well as all interactions a user has in the metaverse, but seems unconvinced that this would be the right method. They list several reasons to support this stance, such as crypto security, the right to be forgotten, leaving long digital trails, and the ability to create multiple identities. The scenario the WEF clearly prefers is a digital identity that is not one entity, but a unique core linked to a myriad of other digital entities, and mentions that some of these parts of an interconnected metaverse ID would be a person's driver's license, social security number, passport, and biometric data. In other words, a centralized digital identity that contains all information about a person from the real world. So somebody like myself, some of you know my real name, most of you don't. Most of you know me as Koolfrogg. Most of you know me as Koolfrogg and Koolfrogg alone. My Gmail account, koolfrogg@gmail.com, is simply that. Koolfrogg. It says that is what my name actually is. Because that account was created a long time ago. My Twitter account is also tied to that particular email address. So, all that being wrapped up, they're trying to do this kind of stuff and say now it needs to be tied to this, that, and the other. Is it going to tell me that I'm no longer Koolfrogg? That I need to actually go and change everything and move it over to a different email address because they don't like how it's going to be tied, because it's not tied to me. It's actually just me in itself, as Koolfrogg. There's so many levels to actually think about when they actually want to put this into play. And it's kind of disturbing, kind of scary when you think about it. They're like, no, you need to actually full-fledged dox yourself straight out, and that's how it's going to be. Any other way is not. So as far as that Koolfrogg name goes, you go ahead, you look it up, and it actually says that my name is actually Koolfrogg. And it's the real name on the account. My Twitter account, which I have actually paid the $8 for to actually get the blue check mark, is tied to the same exact email address. Are you going to tell me now that that's not me? It's been me for the last 20 some odd years, because I created that account when Google first come about. When Google first was a thing, is when I started using that account. That was when you needed somebody else that had a Google account to actually give you the rights to become to get an email address through Google. This account's not something that was born yesterday. This account's been around for a long time, and it's tied to everything. When I say everything, I mean everything. Everything that I've ever done in the last 20 some odd years that had anything to do with the internet, that had anything to do with connecting to anything, was simply just that. Right. It's so they can control my speech. Exactly. Mine, yours, everybody else's. Exactly, Darth. That's what they want to do. They want to control us. They want to control us as much as they possibly can. They want to control it to the point where they're actually going to say, well, the account doesn't say that it's actually you tied to your actual identification, to your social security card, to your whatever, to this, that, and the other. It's not tied to any of that. So, if it's not tied to that, are they going to tell me that I need to remove it and that it no longer exists? Because if they're going to tell me that it no longer exists, does Koolfrogg cease to exist? I'd hope not. But, because that's the way they want it, that's the way they're going to sit there and push it, and they're going to pedal it to be that way. Shirts, you back?
I never left.
Right.
But I couldn't find the clip, unfortunately, from the TV show that I watched at one point. I only watched a couple of episodes before I started puking, but or vomiting profusely. But because it's that bad, like it's. I mean, they just make this whole thing up and they just spew it right in front of your face. And of course, I mean, like the book Brave New World, right? Like all that's there. I mean, that's from the Fabian socialists of Britain, the people that started were involved with the. Oh wait, no, that's Orwell. Sorry. Brave New World's the other one, with the guy that. Whose brother helped to found the UN and all the rest of it. I mean, Brave New World. Well, yeah, I mean, it has to do with Fabian socialists too, what I was saying. But I mean, like, the whole thing, that's the model. That is the model. And they say that is the model. Even like at the introductory to the book, if I'm not mistaken, they even mentioned to a certain degree, like, that's the model. And then there's another book that's written where it's like Brave New World, nonfiction, whatever, where they literally point blank tell you, oh yeah, this is the plan. This is the model, is Brave New World. So like things such as Neuralink central bank digital currency, the metaverse type thing, that's all connected. That's all connected into this thing where they're going to try to get you to do. And I mean, Elon Musk has been quoted saying before that, the metaverse thing, it's kind of little nutty. I mean, like, who wants to have glasses and goggles tied to their face? Well, yeah, that's just the prototype to see if people will want to go into that kind of a thing. And he knows that because he's creating the Neuralink, which is what all of these dystopian hell movies, TV shows, and books that they put out there for you to look at. That's what they all depict. They don't depict the goggles. The goggles are the stepping stone to everybody accepting the Neuralink type of deal. At least that's what they hope. That's their plan. Anyway, I'm not saying that that's going to be the way that it is, but that is the plan. That's the plan. Like the movie, what is that movie? Shoot, that was out, the Gamer movie, where the kid is living in these like slum high rises, and like the only thing that is there available is to run around on this like freaking the thing that you run on for exercise. What treadmill? Like he's running on some freaking treadmill thing.
The thing.
And he's like spinning around, and he's like doing all this stuff with his hands and everything else, but he's got the goggles on, right? And like this whole thing's like a perpetual game, and you can earn money, and you can earn prizes and other things. You can add to yourself in real life with this metaverse thing, but only through the metaverse inside of your tiny little slum apartment. That's like some weird dystopian hell, but apparently it's fun. It's a fun time, I guess. That's what it is. Thank you. Ready Player One. That's what that movie is. Yeah, dystopian hell is what it should be called. But that's kind of like the prototype, right? Like, they want it to be like, everybody shoved into the slums of a city really fast, throw on the goggles or just accept whatever we tell you to accept. And then, like that's the only way you'll be able to do things is through this metaverse, this new thing. But see, when you put it in when you have goggles on, people get frustrated that people can take the goggles off and they can walk around. But when you have the brain implant, that's non-reversible. You can't like reverse implant that. Like that's permanent. That not only the brain implant, it's a spinal implant as well.
Take that shit out. You see people digging it out with a screwdriver, trying to gouge into the back of their head.
I mean, right? Like, I mean, you can't reverse from that. It's like the Matrix, right? Where they have like the holes drilled in the back of their heads so they can plug people in. Like, that's what this is. Once you're there, you can't reverse that.
Like, that's what they want. They have those. You can buy them.
I have no idea what he's talking about. But
right along with your talking is when he popped in and actually said that. So almost.
And then, of course, again, like the central bank digital currency, like that's what it is, right? Like, hey, you'll only be allowed to buy and sell through the central bank digital currency. And then if you have the implant and if you do all the right things for the government, whatever else, then you get your money. And the only way they access the money is if you're into the whole system. That's what they want to do. I'm not saying that that's what they'll accomplish, but that's what they would like. That is their plan.
You can buy the treadmills for VR.
Oh.
Where you just virtually lose weight then, as opposed to actual? Okay. So, while we're speaking of Elon Musk, here you go. Most Americans want FBI investigated for censorship after Twitter files dump. Oh. Americans want the FBI investigated, as they should.
Oh, I don't know about you, but I want the FBI abolished. And you could you could support that movement by, buying a lovely t-shirt from AmericanShirtsFirst.com. That's AmericanShirtsFirst.com. And the 25% off is still there because it's the 12 days of Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. So you can totally go there and grab yourself one because presents are still a thing. So go grab it. Anyway, shameless plug. Moving on.
Winning says, and how will they get millions of Americans to have a brain implant? How much would a brain surgery cost, and how backed up will the operating rooms be? That's a scary thought, really, when it comes down to it. I would assume that they would make them as simple and easy as possible by just, popping something in the backside of your head. But
they have all this stuff in their own white papers. So, I'm not saying that they'll be the most successful in the world at doing this. I'm just saying that's what they want. They love nothing more than that. That is exactly what they want.
When the brain implant thing happens, it'll be free and mandatory like that other thing.
Exactly. This is the thing. It's a step-by-step process. And once you accept the one, then the other, then, oh no, climate lockdowns. We need to monitor everything because, oh no, the climate's going haywire. Quick, get the implant, get the this, get the that. You have to do it. It's free. It's for the government. There's some guy in some National Guard tank outside, and he's going to stick one in you. And it's just fine. Just let it happen. Who cares? That's what this whole thing that, the other thingy that he's talking about that, was, mandated, because Biden, that whole ringamaroo, that's experimental, and they didn't care how many, whatever happened, right? It's the same thing. There could be 50,000 people drop dead within a day of a Neuralink implant and a spinal tap implant along with it, and they wouldn't care. Just keep it going. Look at the other thingy, if you know what I'm saying. Suddenly
the other thing.
Hey, what's stopping them from that? They mandated that, and everybody was like, "Oh, okay, if I have to."
How many years or decades would it take to get most people implanted? I wouldn't think that it would take as long as you'd actually think, because if they're gonna implant it the second that that you were born. It'd only be us that would be defiant to the matter that would take time for them to get to.
Which is the same thing with the thingy that we have now, right? Exactly.
Get the implant or you hate Ukraine.
Yo no Slava Ukraini.
It only took a couple months to get 80%. Did they actually get 80%, or is that just a projected number to get people to seem like they were actually complying?
Well, right, and that's the thing. I'm saying that's what they want. I'm not saying they'll be successful. I'm saying that's what they would love. They would love to get this technology down so patented that they could just roll up in some freaking truck and just haul you into some hippie van and just do it off the bat. And just throw it in your spine, throw it in your skull, and then send you off on your way. And you'd be connected to the CBDC and the social credit score, or whatever. With this, that's what the metaverse is for, really.
Yes,
it's for the
brain surgery on infants. Yes, absolutely. They would do it as soon as they possibly could. They would just do it. They wouldn't ask if that's what you wanted. They would do it straight out, and that way they can tie the children to their parents immediately, and that way when the parents do something wrong, it affects the children as well, because that's the easiest way to do it. Messy business. Messy business. Winning Reality has a super clear, recently dusted crystal ball. Hell. It's all in the sales pitch. I bet it is. I bet it's right there, right in the pitch. You'd be like, look at this will do. This will make things so much better.
Well, right. But winning, tyranny is a messy business. Total tyrannical control is a very messy business. It's very messy.
I forgot what this article is actually about. What is this one? FBI investigated for censorship after Twitter file dumps. So, shall I read it? Are you ready? Should we move on, or?
Well, yes.
Okay.
Anyway.
It was all good. We kind of went off on a little bit of a.
Well, that's because of the chat.
From the last
you
thing,
can blame
right.
the chat.
No, I'm not going to blame the chat. Because that's what they're there for. To
It's
actually
your
keep us
fault.
talking about what we're
It's your
what we're
fault,
actually supposed to
Chet.
be talking about. No, it's not your fault.
Okay, it's Bill
Keep
Gates'
going.
fault.
Do your thing, Chet. You keep doing what
It's
you
me,
do.
It's Bill Gates.
Because that's
It's
what
always
makes it
my
the
fault.
best. It's Bill Gates. It's always Bill Gates' fault.
It really is actually like really a lot of things. It's actually my fault for so much. So much of the hell you have.
We'll do it again. Okay, sounds good. So, catch this article. It says a substantial majority of Americans want the FBI investigated for the alleged role in having content throttled and censored on Twitter following allegations of interference on a platform this month. Several Twitter files, data dumps supplied by journalists by CEO Elon Musk indicated that the FBI was heavily involved with the previous management team at the company in censoring content and having users banned. If y'all haven't caught any of these dumps, there's been several people that have covered each and every single one of the dumps. Like each time something was dumped, they're like, oh, several people that have covered each one of them. They're up to 9 now. There's plenty of places to actually check that out. I think once they're actually complete, maybe we'll try covering some of it, but we'll see. According to a newly released survey by Rasmussen Reports, Rasmussen, there you go. The 63% of respondents said that they want a new Congress to launch probes to FBI-induced censorship on Twitter and social media giant Facebook, while the same amount of respondents said they believe that it took place. The Washington Examiner reported the finding in the new survey sponsored by Miranda Devine, author of the book Laptop from Hell, which deals with the first son, scandal-laden computer, followed a week of revelations that the government convinced Twitter to censor posts about Biden and his critics. Ohio Republican Rep. Jim Jordan, who is set to take over as chairman of the House Judiciary Committee, voiced serious concerns about how and why tech companies suppress silence and reduce the reach of certain political speech and speakers. Majorities of every political category, 52% of Democrats, 75% of Republicans, and 63% of unaffiliated voters, those independents, believe Congress should investigate whether the FBI was involved in censoring information on social media sites, the pollster noted. The poll also found that the country was split nearly in half regarding the FBI, with 50% saying they view the law enforcement agency favorably compared to 46% who do not. Democrats support the FBI more by far, with 74% saying they see the Bureau as a favorable light, or in a favorable light. Sure they do. Overall, however, the agency suffers from mounting concerns. The Washington Examiner noted, asked, for example, if there's a group of politicized thugs at the top who are using the FBI to help Biden, 53% agreed. Earlier this month, a data dump by Twitter revealed that under previous management, the platform's executives met often, at times on a weekly basis, with federal agencies, including the FBI and Department of Homeland Security, to flag stories as misinformation and to limit the reach of other accounts and users during the 2020 election cycle. The Twitter files are revealing more every day about how the government collects, analyzes, and flags your social media content. Twitter's contact with the FBI is constant and pervasive, as if it were a subsidiary. Journalist Matt Taibbi wrote in a thread, between January 2020 and November 2022, there were over 150 emails between the FBI and former Twitter trust and safety chief Yoel Roth. A surprisingly higher number are requests by the FBI for Twitter to take action on election misinformation, even involving joke tweets from low follower accounts. The information released showed that Twitter had special Slack channels set up where they monitored Trump's tweets and made rapid decisions about whether to censor the president or add warning labels to his tweets, the Daily Wire added. Several GOP lawmakers are furious over revelations and have vowed to get answers when they take over the House next month. The FBI has a lot to answer for after the latest drop of Twitter Files 6, Rep. Matt Gaetz said on Twitter. At Jim Jordan, at Rep. Mike Johnson, at Rep. Andy Biggs of Arizona, Rep. Dan Bishop, and I will be asking the questions. Clear your calendar, he said. The FBI is designing what you see so they can control what you think, how you behave. Even before Twitter Files 6, we knew they altered evidence, Kleinsmith, lied under oath, McCabe, targeted Trump, Schrock, Page, suppressed evidence, Tybalt. The Bureau needs a serious reshaping, he said. Rep. James Comer of Kentucky spoke to Fox News host Sean Hannity about it. Anyone that cares about free speech should be outraged, Comer told the host. Whether you're a Republican or a Democrat, this has to stop. And if FBI used Twitter to censor, you bet they also use Google and Facebook, Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri noted as well. They've been censoring our free speech for as long as they possibly can, or they possibly could. Why? Because they don't want us talking about anything. If we talk about it, we come up with new thoughts and ideas, and where does that lead? Nowhere good. It just causes more and more issues. Shirts walked away from us, apparently.
I did.
I did?
I don't recall.
Don't recall. He's still with us. He mutes himself. He's like, all right, I got to mute myself so I don't break his reading and actually just allow the article to be read. Good parents, one man, one woman who love their children enough to teach them are the best defense against this BS society crisis. Yeah, I mean, I kind of agree with you on that. That's pretty much how it works. How are you going to stop people from actually being controlled? Explain to them that they can't control you. They can't control you. You have no way of actually controlling you if you actually don't allow them to control you.
Like getting a spinal tap and a brain tap. To quote, this is a direct quote from the Neuralink people. They say the reason for the additional spinal implant, this is a direct quote. They say the purpose of it is to remote control movement. That's a direct quote. Why the hell would you need a spinal implant in addition to the Neuralink to have remote control movement? Why do you need remote control? I get it. He didn't say personal control. He said remote. That means someone else. That means remote from away from you, a distance from you. Why the hell would you need that?
I don't know. Why would we? Why would we need such a thing?
And ID, I mean, we're not insulting you. ID winning. ID just kind of cracked a joke a little bit there earlier at the crystal ball thing. You're saying you're talking about the logistics. I mean, the logistics are there for that. The Neuralink stuff. I mean, Elon said this is quick. This is easy. They say the recovery. What did he say? Like the recovery was like only a couple of days. He said the recovery will be for most people. He said, the experiments with the animals, whatever. And so for people, it should be only that much. And that's why he feels so confident to go to the FDA for this now and to try to start human trials on this and to see how fast he can go. They are so far advanced with this. It's unbelievable.
Will Neuralink make your dancing better? No. You'll still just be as uncoordinated as you've always been. Elon's not a doctor. Neither is Joe Biden.
Well, neither is Bill Gates, but look what he did. I mean, you know. I mean, that's what they're like. They're so far advanced with it. If you watch their whole shtick, if you watch the whole rigmarole that they did presenting all of this Neuralink stuff that they just came out with like a couple of months ago, and that they're going to the FDA with now. I mean, he's saying it's quick, easy peasy, lemon squeezy. And it's a couple of days recovery. You'll barely even know that it was there. The surgery's fast. It's easy. It's small. They do it really fast. Just a little thing, whatever, da-da-da. Like that, he's standing there telling you this. They're giving examples of all this stuff. They're showing you, like, you know, the monkeys, the pigs, the whatever. Like, it's all there. Like, they just tell you. Now, how much success without damage this will have on people, you know, human beings, that is yet to be seen. But just think, like, in the next 5 years or so, according to them, right? Like, think how far advanced that would be. Like, that's the goal, is to just keep the advancement going at this unprecedented pace. Just keep it pushing forward. That's the goal. Now, how successful that goal will be with some people, I don't know. But that's the thing. The elites don't care because they want to depopulate you anyway. So, like, who cares how many of you die in the experiment? Who cares? This is the Yahtzees all over again. It's like we want all of the, you know, certain population of people with the Star of David on their chest. We want all of those people to die, say the Yahtzees. So who cares? Let's just experiment the hell out of these people and learn all, quote unquote, how we can medically advance the master race, right? Like, that's what these people are. They're eugenicists. They don't care. They don't care. Your life to them is more expendable than the pig that they showed in the slide in the Neuralink. That's what these people think of you. And I think that's obvious from the other thing that was mandated. The other thing.
What other thing? We'll go over to the Rumble here eventually, and we'll cover the other thing.
The other thing. Well, you know, it might. I mean, it's my other thing that I made. Yeah, I made you all again.
I agree, Texas Jen. I agree right there. Shirts get so passionate. I love it. And that's exactly why, you know, shows that are without him, though they still go off without a hook, they're just not the same. They're just not the same.
That's what they claimed. They claimed, like, neurological disorders. Elon said this, neurological disorders. He said, he quoted, and I said this in my video. I don't know if you remember this or not. I guess I do. Like, in the video that I made about Elon Musk on my Rumble, that you totally go check out. It's still up there. It's pretty cool. I made it back in November around Thanksgiving time-ish. Elon Musk was quoting scripture again, conveniently. He was saying that Neuralink will make the blind see, it will make the deaf hear, it will cure, you know, diseases, it will do this. Like he's saying this. Like, that's what they're claiming with the Neuralink. That's when you say, "Oh, it'll cure Alzheimer's. It'll prevent Alzheimer's." Like, that's what they're leading to. Like, they're already saying it'll make the blind see. How exactly will it make the blind see? Well, you know, it will. You know, it's you know, this type of technology. We can do it to do this. We can do it to do that. Whatever. I mean, they're already telling you this. They're already telling people that, you know, we'll make deaf people hear again. I mean, Elon thinks he's Jesus Christ. And he's going to, you know, heal us all with his Neuralink. I mean, it's just, I mean, it's unbelievable, but that's what they want to go to.
Turn water into wine?
Well, yeah, in your mind. He'll try to make it taste like wine to you, or like, make it look like wine to you or something, or some crazy crap mess with your head.
So it's an hour and a half. Last article before we switch ourselves over to the Rumble side. This particular article that's up next, we're going to kind of switch it up a little bit. This is actually in the tagline. Andrew Tate and his brother were just arrested on sex trafficking allegations. If y'all hadn't heard about...
This is the second time that he's been arrested in Romania for this. I just like preface it with that. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, yes, ID, yes, yes. That's literally that's what Elon Musk wants you to believe. That's what I present on my Rumble channel. You tell you on my latest video. Anyway,
no, you're fine.
But this is the second time he's been arrested.
Yeah, this is not the first time that he's actually been arrested. You can actually see he is
in Romania
in cuffs on this particular photo that's there. So it's a social media influencer, Andrew Tate, and his brother were apprehended by law enforcement officials in Romania on Thursday and faces charges related to sex trafficking allegations. Police reportedly surrounded a villa Tate and his brother Tristan were visiting and arrested them on charges of kidnapping, international human trafficking, and raping. The Romanian news outlet Liberté reported. The brothers were also interrogated by law enforcement officials for 5 hours on April 11th, but were released, the publication notes. In a video published by social media Thursday, the brothers were being escorted into a car while flanked by police officers. There is a video here for us.
I mean, look at the police, like they're in freaking ski masks for this multi-millionaire who has his face posted everywhere, who was just on freaking Piers Morgan's show not too long ago. And now he's being swatted with freaking full ski mask police officers, like being piled into a vehicle, being surrounded on all sides by police officers in an SUV. Like, what the hell? But hey, we can't find any of Jeffrey Epstein's associates to arrest, say the governments of the West. But by God, Andrew Tate gets into a fight with freaking How Dare You Thunberg on Twitter, and he's arrested the next day. Because, there's allegations.
ID crisis.
Oh my God. Where did you come up with this?
Andrew Tate sent an email to Greta Thunberg's dad at smalldick@getalife.com. Very well. Very well. Jay-Z had a quick question, and he says, is the Doomsday Glacier a real threat?
Well, if that Doomsday Glacier happens to be me, then yes. That's a real threat, almost as much as the looming population threat to the planet. That's a big deal too. Should really look into that. Perhaps maybe you would consider suicide as an option. Allegedly, says Bill Gates. In Minecraft, of course.
ID crisis. As long as alcohol goes good on rocks, we're gonna be fine. So, anyway, it continues. It says, Tate and his brother allegedly held 2 young women hostage in a villa in April and subjected them to physical violence and mental coercion. The Daily Mail reports one of the victims was an American citizen and the other was Romanian. Law enforcement officials claimed Tate heads an organized crime group that sexually exploited its members by forcing them to perform pornographic demonstrations, pornographic for the purpose of producing and disseminating through social media platforms. And a total of 6 victims have come forward with allegations claiming they were exploited by Tate's organized crime group.
Funny how this can come about, right? But like, you know, when we play the clip on this show with Andrew Tate and then his brother Tristan, and how they're talking about the whole Balenciaga thing with, you know, the child abuse type stuff, you know, that was going on with that, and he'll just sit there and just be like, oh yeah, they do this, you know, they're all, you know, they're doing this, and he sits there and they both point out all of this evil and corruption stuff, like, oh yeah, he's totally into, you know, this whole, like, you know, sex cult, abuse people type thing. Oh wait, no, actually, like that.
So these next couple little small paragraphs are hilarious. Tate's arrest comes hours after professional kickboxer ignited controversy by taunting environmental activist Greta Thunberg on Twitter. Hello at Greta Thunberg. I have 33 cars, Tate wrote, tagging the 19-year-old Swedish activist on Twitter. This is just the start. Please provide your email address so I can send a complete list of my car collection and their respective enormous emissions. Yes, please do enlighten me. Email me at smalldickenergy@getalife.com, Thunberg shot back.
Oh my God. So Greta Thunberg comes up with this crap.
Greta came up with that. I wonder how long it took her to actually reply to that, to actually come up with such a sweet comeback.
Don't degrade, Debbie. Don't degrade the Swedish meatball like that. I mean, you know, come on now.
So then here's her tweet that says, yes, please enlighten me. Email it smalldickenergy@getalife.com. Andrew says, to Andrew's initial tweet, Tate hit back at Thunberg when with a 2-minute video warning she is programmed in a slave of the Matrix. Thank you for confirming via your email address that you have a small penis, Greta Thunberg. The world was curious, and I do agree you should get a life.
Oh my God. She thinks she's so clever too, you know.
Release some greenhouse gases. I'm obviously a stranger to online controvery. It's not something I often do.
Oh, look, Koolfrogg, it's you and your Indian.
But now, the mainstream press is commenting on the fact that
look at his wrist.
I was informing Greta that my very extensive car collection with internal combustion engines, which run on dead dinosaurs, have an enormous emission profile. And she replied by telling me her own email address. Greta's email address is, I have small dick energy. Why would that be your own email address, Greta? Strange.
Because she's stupid. She can't even, she's so damn stupid. She can't even come up with an insult. She's insulting herself. She can't even think. That's how dumb this is. Like, she's like, oh, ha, ha, ha. Like I got him. She said it about herself. She can't even get an insult right. She's that stupid.
Debbie came back and said, Shirts, you have a point. I'll no longer defame the Swedish meatball. Red Hoodwinked, good to see you. Glad you're here. Says, I doubt she wrote it. Probably had someone else type it out for her. Potentially. Yeah. Who among us doesn't have an enormous emission profile? Good one, ID. CB4K, good to see you. Glad you're here. Says Andrew Tate is done for. This is a sad day for the manosphere. Nacho Kitty says, "Good evening, peeps. Good to see you. Glad you're all here. Glad you're all making it around to this side of the interwebs."
This side of the internet.
That was pretty much the rest of the. There's another minute and 10 seconds.
It's 50-50, but it is what it is. I'm not actually mad at Greta. Please bring me pizza and make sure that these boxes are not recycled. Thank you. So I'm not actually mad at Greta, right? Because she doesn't realize she's been programmed. She doesn't realize she's a slave of the Matrix. She thinks she's doing good. Someone has sat her down and convinced her to try and convince you to beg your government to tax you into poverty to stop the sun from being hot.
Jerry's Pizza just got the biggest freaking
extra large.
They're just like, yes, do this. Jerry's Pizza is so excited right now because the world is talking about this, showing this video, and they're all like, yeah, we're gonna get more customers.
And then, because I called her out on it, the global Matrix got this bot farm to like and retweet and all this bot commenting to try and pretend that her telling me that she has a small dick in her own email address somehow teaches me a lesson. Welcome to a new episode of The Clown Show.
I mean, it's literally that stupid. It's literally that stupid. Literally that dumb. It's that level of stupid. And then everybody gets in a bot farm and they're just like, oh, see, look, it's so beast. It's so beast. It's like, what the hell? Like, this isn't, I mean, it's just total gaslighting. It's total gaslighting. Like we're all expected to, it's like, what, we can't understand that she was actually ended up insulting herself? Like, none of us are supposed to understand that? We're all just supposed to go along with the fact that, like, oh, well, she wanted to insult you. So in her freaking, I don't know, slow brain of hers, she just couldn't type it out, but she meant it or whatever. Like, oh, I was like, what? No, she insulted herself. But we're all expected to believe that it was a major burn against him, like just freaking gaslighting on another level.
Number 945 just stopped by to say hi. Hit that like button. Have a great time, everyone. Thank you to Helen Back. You have a wonderful night.
I know, at least, that Greta, with a little hate-filled face, bitter, sitting somewhere without the heating on, in the cold, a little hat, shivering.
Oh, right, like she doesn't have
my tweets, which is going to make my Twitter account far more fun into eternity.
So, all in all, when it comes down to it, it sounds like they're being rearrested for things that happened back in April, after they had actually been released for the allegations back then. I really don't see how this is actually going to come out any good for anybody. I really don't see how they can actually continue to, move along with it. If it's not true. If it is true, bad on him. If it isn't true, these 6 that have come across with these allegations, bad on you. I really don't know what to actually think of it in a whole when it comes down to it, because
I do have some knowledge on this because I did look up some of the stuff about it from the original arrests from them because I was curious. And what it is like this OnlyFans thing where it's like this freaking, like, I don't know, abuse pornography stuff that they do on occasions.
Okay.
And so, like, it's a whole, like, program thing that they do. And, like, they get paid. Like, the women that are involved is, like, they get paid. They get paid big bucks. So, like, this isn't some, like, oh, this is like an entrapment ring and it's like sex trafficking or whatever. Like, it's not that. He's not Jeffrey Epstein. Like, this isn't that kind of a deal. Like, this is a like, pay. I mean, it's very degenerate and I don't like it at all. Like it's very bad, but it's not Jeffrey Epstein level, like, trafficking people, keeping them bound in chains and in cages against their will, and then like throwing them out as like, human meat or something, or like some crazy horrific things where they're doing rituals even or whatever. Like it's not anything that level of insane and completely dehumanizing and completely degenerate. Like, I mean, there's clips that the Sun paper put out, the British Sun paper put out, where the girl will like be in the middle of it, and like then they'll stop, and she's like, she's losing it because she's like, I don't want to be involved in this thing or whatever, and they're like, but we're paying you. Like, oh, but I want out now, whatever, and like, this or that, whatever. And eventually they end up leaving the whole joint of this whole thing. But like, I mean, when they're there, they have to sign like all these different things. They have these agreements, whatever. I mean, he's not a multi-billionaire for nothing. I mean, he most certainly isn't a multi-billionaire because he goes along with the, establishment. Like, that's not why he's a multi-billionaire. Like, he's very smart. Andrew Tate's very smart with his money and how he does things. So anyways, it's not an excuse for the behavior, but it's not criminality. It's very bad behavior. It's very degenerate stuff. It's done in private. It's not done all the time, but it is done, and it's bad. But it's not criminal, trafficking people, kidnapping people. That was originally like earlier. I guess it was early this year, like you were saying, like in April, I guess, whatever, the original arrest. Whenever that was, the original arrest, the first one, that was for kidnapping charges. They were kidnapping women, quote unquote. Well, no, they weren't. They were bringing women into their house and into a room that they had set up for like this whole film thing that they did. Like that was literally, they were literally getting paid. So that's not kidnapping. Like, oh, I'm gonna pay you to like, do this. That's not kidnapping them. And then they get to leave afterwards. Like that's not human.
Which is probably the reason they got released in the first place after being arrested back in April.
Well, right, because like there's not enough.
So was it that there's just a couple of people that actually came forward in April? Now there's more people coming forward?
Now that I don't know. Perhaps there are more.
It didn't sound like it. It sounded like there was the same 6 people or whatever that came forward then, or coming,
right.
The same ones that they're arresting them on now. So it's like, well,
I don't know Romania's laws on different things. Perhaps you can, I mean, in America we have this thing where like double jeopardy, right? Like if you get in court, I mean they didn't even go to court, but like if you did go to court, jury finds you not guilty, you're not allowed to go through double jeopardy. I don't know Romania's rules or ideas based upon that. We have a more Anglo understanding, like British common law understanding of some of these different things is different than some places perhaps in Eastern Europe. I'm not entirely sure. So anyways, like the whole legal situation with that, perhaps they can arrest them twice for the same charge if they somehow find another piece of something else or another from the same witnesses. They just come up with it again and they just do it. I mean, that's corrupt as crap, but maybe they're allowed to do it. I don't know.
Sure.
But anyways, Andrew Tate said he was leaving Romania. He was planning on moving, and he was planning on moving to the United Arab Emirates in the Arabian Peninsula. And he says that he's become Muslim, which is also kind of weird. Anyways, but that's a whole, I mean, he's his own like person or whatever, but he's fine.
Perfect segue. Pretty like an awesome segue into the next article or whatever. So there you go. Minnesota professor reportedly fired after Muslim students complain about images of Muhammad shown in class. I mean, there seems to just be like everything's like interconnected.
They mock
with each other
and make fun of Christ every time some of these people open their mouths, and it's totally fine. But as soon as the Prophet Muhammad's brought up, like nobody's allowed to say anything.
ID says, got dad things to do in the morning, gotta dip out. Mad love to the chat. Thanks to the host. See you soon. Yeah. See you in 2 days. When we actually have a decent panel for our New Year's Eve. We will be bringing in each and every single time zone here in the United States, at least, and then we'll go probably on longer than that, depending on how soon we make it through the year in review. And I want to say last year we went for like 7 hours. So who knows how long we'll actually go. It should be a good time. We'll see you there. So, do we need to go away right away? I don't think we need to go right away. We'll stay here for a little bit. This is a Minnesota liberal arts professor was reportedly fired after Muslim students complained that the instructor showed historic depictions of Muhammad during a class about Islamic art. The unidentified professor of Hamline University in St. Paul stoked outrage in October from members of the school's Muslim Student Association for showing paintings of Muhammad made in the 1300s and 1500s, according to Hamline Oracle. Many Muslims considered depictions of the Prophet as blasphemous. Aram Wadatullah, president of the Muslim Student Association, told university administrators about the incident the day after it happened, according to campus outlets.
I mean, can I just say, like, it's so ironic that, I mean, scroll back up. Like, this is where we're at in the Western world right now. We're bowing down to, in our establishment stuff. Oh, back up a little more where it says, like, St. Paul.
St.
Right?
Paul?
Like the city of St. Paul.
Okay, so
like,
Hamline University in St. Paul, seriously, I lived in St. Paul for a couple of years. You know how far away I lived from Hamline University? Within like 2 miles. I lived in that vicinity of Hamline University. Hamline University is not predominantly Muslim in any way, shape, or form. There's seriously, St. Paul in itself has more Mexicans than they do any other. If for them to actually have a group of Muslims that are actually at this college to actually go after this guy is ridiculous.
But the point that I was going to make about like where we're at in the Western world, like the city is named after St. Paul the Apostle of Christianity, and yet the university or the school that's there is bowing down to like a group of like 5 Muslims who don't like a depiction of Muhammad. And so, we all have to bow down to it. I mean, that's the level of insane they want.
I mean, that'd be the same as like them showing a picture of what they assume Jesus Christ looked like and be like, nah, it's blasphemous. He's not straight white. We know better. We know better. He came from a region where he would have actually been of a darker golden tone. So I mean, it just the ridiculousness of all of it, saying, that depiction is blasphemous. Fire that instructor now, is really kind of disturbing in itself. Just saying, it's really, for them to call blasphemy on something, it really seriously needs to be thought about. Do we really seriously know what Muhammad actually looked like? Can you actually say that he didn't look like that?
Can you say he existed?
Right. There's so many things to go along with it. Right. There's so many things to go along with that. Let's see here. I'm like, this can't be real. Wadatullah told the Oracle, I'm a Muslim and a black person. I don't feel like I belong, and I don't think I'll ever belong in a community where they don't value me as a member and they don't show the same respect that I show them.
Really? What respect?
The instructor that was let go is saying that he is Muslim and a black person. It's showing a depiction of what Muhammad potentially looked like and being dejected by the community that he belongs to. That's the whole reason I have this article up here or whatever, is because of that in itself. It's like, wait a minute here. You're going to sit there and you're going to actually kick him out because of his own beliefs and what he actually thinks he potentially Muhammad could be depicted as?
Maybe he's one of those like Sufi people that dance around in a circle or something, and they're like, nope, we don't like them. I don't know.
David Hamlin's Associate Vice Principal of Inclusion Excellence emailed students on the 7th of November and described the incident as undeniably inconsiderate, disrespectful, and Islamophobic. He also said the professor in question had been fired. And due to this incident, it is decided it was best for a faculty member was no longer part of Hamlin community. The Oracle reported that Everett's email also said the university had to decide whether the professor's conduct was a hate crime before administrators ultimately determined it was an act of intolerance. In an email to the student newspaper, the professor said, "My perspective and actions have been lamentably mischaracterized. My opportunities for due process have been thwarted," adding that Everett's accusations of intolerance are misapplied. Again, he's a black man of the Muslim belief, and for them to actually call him out for him actually showing some depiction of Muhammad for the others to be so disturbed to get their own kind removed, it's ridiculous. It's so stupid that people just can't leave others' lives alone. Beavers over on Rumble says Islam doesn't allow depictions of animals either. It's mostly calligraphy depicting Allah and Muhammad and decorative words and symbols. As a Muslim, the professor should know that.
Yeah, Islam,
I guess
is iconoclastic. Which is very interesting considering it's like, we believe in the same God. We believe in the same God. It's just that Christians do, but we worship them the best. That's why you're just certified citizens. Okay, well, we've always had iconography throughout, Jewish history, into Christianity, whatever. I mean, that's a whole other discussion, right?
So, I'm just looking through all the other articles that I actually have here, and we've actually gotten ourselves dinged for showing anything similar to what these actually are about here on YouTube. And this is the reason why I said that eventually we will go over to Rumble and not stay here because of what they actually what's actually there. Jujubee says, hey, welcome, Jujubee. Glad you're here. Glad that you could make it at the last split moment before we actually take off to Rumble and Rumble alone. All of you that know where this Rumble channel is, please go over there. Please go and check it out. Subscribe over there, as we will actually be there, and we're not going to leave. We're actually going to stay right where we're at. We're just going to shut off the YouTube side and do the Rumble alone. Thank you, Shirt. Those links that he's throwing up under my name, those are actually that's where this actually is. I mean, you don't have to spam it for kind of long.
Oh, but I do. Go click that link and then subscribe to the Rumble channel.
Yes. Are we going to Rumble? Now. Yes, we're going to Rumble. That's where we're going here in a short bit, within moments. Please head yourselves over there. Subscribe over on the Rumble side. If something ever does happen here ever again, we will continue to hold this show same time, same place, but over there. See, Weird W's over there. She says, hey. So, like I said, make your way over to the Rumble side. Come check us out over there. If you hadn't subscribed over there already, please do so. We're gonna go. We're gonna go right now. Anybody else have anything else on the YouTube side that they'd like to say or share? Please do so now. Otherwise, be sure to actually check out americashirtsairefirst.com.
That is AmericanShirtsAreFirst.com with only the most paid shirts on the planet. And you can get 25% off anything in the store by using the discount code of Koolfrogg, because it is the 12 days of Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. It's technically still gift giving time if you want, totally, go check it out. Go grab yourself some awesome gifts and some awesome things. Hey, New Year's is coming up, you want to wear a cool thing, New Year's party. If you have a New Year's party, be like, hey, yeah, man, like I'm the most base thing in the world. Like, look at my ball drop here of this emblem of the FBI dropping into the abyss because, abolish the FBI. Go check it out on America's Shirts, AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. That is AmericaShirtsAreFirst.com. Go there and get shirts, people.
And if you'd like to support me immediately, as I'm not quite monetized yet, that second strike had fallen off as of yesterday at 4:00 in the morning. That being said, I have one left. That one falls off on the 17th of January. That's as long until I can actually apply for monetization, being that I am over the 1,000. If you want to support me immediately, please go to buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. There is a PayPal link down below in the description as well. Please check that out. Support me any way that you possibly can. And we'll see y'all later. Have a wonderful night. Good night, Divinity. Have a good one, dude.
Go to Rumble. Do it now.
Do it.
Do it.
Don't ask. Just do it.
Do it now.